Hi, Freshman Seminar. To supplement the stories that you have already collected, you need to provide a context. In this case, context is a historical reference for how your identity indicator has been viewed in United States history. We will begin with a focus on current events and move backwards through history in order to collect relevant information. This type of study is called reverse chronology, and that's because we're starting with the present and working our way back. Remember, you will be including a bibliography on your final paper, so you might as well get the bibliographic information right now. I know, Wikipedia is a great place to get information, but your source may not include Wikipedia. Tomorrow I'll show you how to get some good references from the reference section on a Wikipedia page. But for today, we'll be using Google and more specifically the news option. There are other ways to get news articles, but this is just one easy way. To go about doing that. So, what we're going to do is we open up to our regular page and we have Google. I'm going to click News at the very top because I want to have news information. I'm going to pick a specific type of identity, and for me I'll pick women. So I'm going to look up women's rights, United States. And once that's all typed in, I'm going to click Search News. Now that I'm here, I see a couple of different articles. I see JFK's contribution to women's rights, and it's from November 22nd, 2013, but I know that JFK was president a while back, and I want this to be current, meaning I want this to have happened in the last year or so. So I'm going to be looking at this one from November 19th about the Tea Party's attack on women's rights. So let's go ahead and click on that. Now, if I were you, I would read through this first to check to make sure it's an article that I want to use. But because I want to show you how to use the EasyBib option, I'm just going to copy that. So I click on it, I hit Control-C, and then I went to easybib.com, www.easybib.com, EASYBIB.com. Now, this is pretty easy for me. It's going to help me go all the way through it. We're just going to choose the free option because that's easy for me. Control-V. When I hit Control-V, it gets the whole entire website there. And I hit Cite This. While it's loading, I want to let you know that not all websites are going to have all the information there. If you'll notice, it filled in Politico magazine for me, which is great, but it doesn't have the author. So I'm going to go back and look to see if the author is written in here. Yes, it's Cecile Richards. So I'm going to go back and put Cecile Richards. And we have the website title, we have the publisher, we have the URL. I'm going to click Yes to display the URL. And I'm going to find the date that it was published. It was November 19th, 2013. And once I have that all in, I'm going to hit Create Citation. Now you'll notice I don't have all the information there, and that's fine. But remember that the more information that you're missing, the less reputable or the less valid or the less good the source is. But for this case, we just have everything that we need. I'm going to copy the whole thing. I hit Control-C. And what you would do is you would open up your document. This is page number 9 in your research packet, and you would actually write the whole thing there and write it as clearly as possible because this is going to be something that you're going to have to access later. So once it loads, I'm going to have that as my option, and I'm going to have that there. You should definitely write the whole thing down. So now I've got that there. I've got my citation. I've got everything that I need there, and I am going to be very good to go once I actually make my bibliography. But what does annotation mean? It's the same thing as when you do annotations in English class. You're basically looking for some really good pieces of information and maybe even some direct quotes. So I'm going to go back to my article, and I'm going to read through it real quick. And it talks about women's rights and the right to have an abortion, and it talks about how women have had the constitutional right to have abortion for more than 40 years, but in the last 3, it's kind of cut off some restrictions. So I'm just going to take this fact right here, and since you guys are handwriting, you can just annotate it, meaning you can write less, but just for the sake of speed, I'm going to do a little bullet point, and I'm going to put my fact in there. Oh, let's take this away. And let's see if we can get a couple more, because we do want this to be a pretty good thing. These are some specific details. I'm going to copy that whole thing. Once again, this is all on you for how much research you want to do now, so you don't have to do the research later. So I'm going to get one more fact. So I'm finding a name, and this might be pretty cool because I do want to talk more about Terry McAuliffe and Wendy Davis, because they're going to be some huge names when I'm talking about women's rights. And we'll see if this even works out. But I've got my facts now, and I can move on to my next source. So I've got that nice 3 facts. I can use this again. I have my bibliography, and I'm going to go back to the internet. Now, let me just show you a different way to collect sources. Let's say, for example, that you're done looking through googlenews.com. What are some reputable newspapers that you know about? Yes, a good one would be the New York Times. There's also the Huffington Post. There's also maybe even the Houston Chronicle, but you can look through these. So I'm going to look at the New York Times, and once I get to the New York Times, I'm going to do a quick Google search once it loads. Oh, let's just go back to Google. News, current, women's rights, United States. Okay, so once I go through this, I find women's rights, HuffingtonPost.com, the Center for American Progress, women's rights in the news, and I can pick any number of these to get some up-to-date current events for women's rights. I'll follow the same sort of steps. So if I choose this one, I'll just copy the URL. I'll copy the URL, put it in here, and I'll get my new citation. Once I'm done, by the end of class, you will have 3 of these done. This will just be for your current event section, and tomorrow we'll be working on from the year 2000 to the year 1950 for reverse chronology. If you have any questions, please reach out to your cohort or to myself, and thank you and have a great day.